Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another episode from the Ethnic Diversity Network. This year, we opted out of the typical podcast format and we went around and asked our colleagues in the BT group various questions with regards to cultural identity, in particular with reference to their South Asian heritage. So sit back and listen to what they've got to say.
South Asian Heritage Month is just a small piece of a big jigsaw that ultimately forms inclusion in the workplace. As leaders, it's really important that the freedom to express yourself for who you are starts with us. We want everyone to feel comfortable in their own skin, we want everyone to feel genuine to their own identity, and we want everyone to be themselves at work. It's shown that people who work together from different backgrounds can create better innovation and better business delivery outcomes. And furthermore, we are who we are, right? And we can't change that, nor do we want to change that. Instead, what we can do is embrace the cultural differences using platforms such as the South Asian Heritage Month that's coming up to really drive the awareness and promote the education. Now, Openreach is a fantastic place to work. It really is. And that's partly due to the cultural focus on diversity and inclusion.
Sometimes, yes, I do feel free to be myself, but sometimes no. I think even now, it can still feel a little bit daunting, a bit uneasy being the only person of an ethnic background in a team or in a room.
About 6 or 8 years ago, I went on my DEI journey, and suddenly that made me really proud of my heritage and wanted to share that story. And what I identified was that I was trying to be something I wasn't when I was at work, but when I was at home, I was a completely different rag. So I decided that actually I'm not going to hide anymore and bring my true self to work. And it's made a real difference in how I communicate with people, and I'm proud to share my heritage.
The culture that I come from, I'm a Sikh, I'm Punjabi background. I've got my roots are also in East Africa, in Kenya, Uganda, where you can see by my headdress and how I behave that I actually am 100% the culture that I represent, and I'm very free with it and I'm very comfortable with it. And I think because I'm comfortable, I make an effort to make sure others around me are relaxed about my appearance and are relaxed about my swagger, so to speak.
I think we all need to be ambassadors for our own networks and our own heritage. We need to promote our own individuality and heritages, and try not to be afraid to speak about it.
I've been working for Openreach for 19 years, and I've seen loads of changes since in my time within the company. There has been lots of positive changes. We still have a long way to go, but we're in the right direction. Yes, I do feel free to be myself at work, especially regarding my South Asian heritage. My workplace is very inclusive and celebrates diversity. During Diwali, we have more celebrations. My colleagues are always excited to try South Asian dishes I bring in. Enjoy the spicy and sweet flavors. They show genuine interest in learning about our culture, which makes me valued and respected.
So I feel more freest now, I think especially now, right? If you ever look at what's gone on around the world and what's gone around, generally in our country, we've had somebody of ethnic background become the Prime Minister. You've got, a wave of emotion in America where you've got somebody of mixed race running for president. And these things that have been happening only serve to motivate all of us to say, okay, now more so than ever, being different shouldn't be something that is extraordinary. It's something that is celebrated.
Being part of the Ethnic Diversity Network has allowed me to be part of South Asian Heritage Month and the events surrounding it. And I would say it's increased my own learning just around the countries involved, the history of those different countries. So I would simply encourage other people to just do a bit of learning, whether that be online through books or going to external events, just do learning yourself.
I think across all organisations there's a massive drive to have a diverse workforce and have diversities high on the goals of all organisations. But I personally sometimes think that the rationale and reasoning as to why businesses want this is sometimes lost. For myself, I think it's about having a diverse set of ideas and opinions, way of looking at things, solving things. Even if we had like 10 people of my own background and makeup and similar characteristics and beliefs, we'd come to a very similar conclusion a lot of the time. And I think it's so important to have different ways of looking at things and coming to different conclusions and challenging opinions as well. So that's why it's really important to myself.
I think one way that we as a community can promote and preserve South Asian heritage is by making sure we hold diversity training. This should include talking about South Asian culture, the heritage, the background, and also talking about how South Asians made a huge contribution in the UK. Another way that we can promote South Asian heritage is by holding cultural celebrations within the workplace. So I know at BT we have held Diwali, Eid, Vaisakhi celebrations, and just making sure that we continue to do this in the future will really help to promote that South Asian heritage. Also, having inclusive policies which benefit the South Asian community and all other communities as well is very beneficial. For example, we have flexible bank holidays at BT, which allows us to take time off for cultural events and religious events, for example Eid and Diwali. Finally, mentorship and sponsorship is very important. We should have mentorship programs that help South Asian employees with their career development and helping them move into those leadership positions.
Being part of the Ethnic Diversity Network has allowed me to be part of South Asian Heritage Month and the events surrounding it. And I would say it's increased my own learning just around the countries involved, the history of those different countries. So I would simply encourage other people to just do a bit of learning, whether that be online through books or going to external events, just do learning yourself.
So I think the key thing is to always bear in mind that you're acting as an ambassador for the heritage that you belong to. It could be South Asian could mean a number of things. You could be from Sri Lanka, you could be from different parts of India, you could be from outside India indeed. So it's about to being really comfortable about being an ambassador for what you stand for, to make sure that everybody understands that beyond what your outward appearance looks like, there's a makeup behind that and a set of values.
We also need to preserve and promote the South Asian heritage by organising culture festivals, teaching our history, our traditions in schools, and supporting local South Asian artists, businesses, establishing museums and culture centres dedicated to South Asian art and history is important.
Inclusive leadership is definitely one way to celebrate different identities. It's great to see that Surinder, a South Asian woman, is in such a high leadership position within the company. However, I feel like at Openreach we still have a lot to do. This ties in with making sure that we have training programs and mentorship programs that allow South Asian communities and other communities to move into these leadership positions. One way that we can demonstrate contributions is making sure that we highlight the achievements and contributions made by South Asian employees. For example, a post on the Loop, in newsletters, on Workplace, or even recognising somebody with an award in your team.
really simple. It's what I tell everyone around me as well. Be brave, be bold, be you. Was that too cheesy?
I think, you know, this month, the South Asian Heritage Month, and the great work that the Ethnic Diversity Network do throughout the year in promoting diversity and the ability to bring your whole self to work is excellent. And, you know, keep up the great work, guys. Thank you.
Make a conscious effort to ask questions and understand each other. Take a risk and engage and attend events that are happening within BT. I would also say allow yourself to be open to understand relationships with South Asian heritage may intertwine with each other. I'm an example. I'm from an Indian heritage. My husband's from a Pakistani heritage. And that in itself can bring all sorts of lovely things to light. But just being open that those things do happen and just being curious. That's it.